Be creative. Who cares sanity? Head of Hans Christian Andersen? Yes, the famous Danish author who wrote dozens of fiction for children. He remains one of the most famous storytellers of all time. Nearly 150 years after his death, his legacy is typically associated with light-hearted reading. He became highly famous for his fairy tales, which consisted of 156 stories published in a total of 9 volumes. Over the years, they have become known all over the world, being translated into more than 125 different languages and have served as the basis of numerous theatre productions, ballets, and films. Some of his stories that the contemporary audiences know the best include The Ugly Duckling, The Princess and the Pea, Thumbelina, and The Little Match Girl. Anderson, who lived more than a century before J.K. Rowling, the most celebrated children's writer of contemporary times, is read even now with equal fervor as the latter. His source of creative inspiration remains a great lesson for all who are interested in any form of creative expression. He drew inspiration from inmates of a mental asylum. What a wonder! Tales told by women who had been admitted in a local mental hospital, called at that time as lunatic asylum, where his grandmother was a gardener, inspired Andersen. He sat and listened avidly to their improvised stories full of witches, fairies, goblins, and trolls. They schooled him in the art of adapted storytelling. Imaginative worlds, strange, surreal characters, and weird situations poured from their unbalanced minds. Their stories were without any form. Andersen combined their exotic imaginations with structured plots. Getting those twin aspects of exotic imaginations and structured plots working in tandem was the key to his success. He combined the absurd and the irrational with his literary skills. Gripping plot lines and insightful observations of human behavior. Andersen's bizarre characters look at the world with a distorted perspective and are unable to see or understand their real situation. Creativity requires a mixture of unfettered imagination and practical application. Random inventions and playfulness held together with an underlying thread. Children and the insane are great examples of how to think in an unfettered and unconstrained way. Their thoughts flow freely and are always flexible and random. Doors to unexplored areas constantly open up for them. But children and the insane lack organizational skills. Creative thinking requires a balance of each. Imagination and fantasy are essential components of a healthy, satisfying creative life. Try to encourage your mind to wander without leashes because it produces tangible creative results. Forgetting a practical task because your attention has drifted is of little consequence if that daydream has enabled you to access a key insight. Lesson in a nutshell. Never be afraid of your creative mind wandering beyond your logical mind. Try to learn lessons in creativity from the most unpredictable sources.